He crossed 7 seas on the backs of serpents. He walked through a kingdom where the dead tried to keep him forever. His name was Buluqiya. This is the story the world never told you. In the ancient city of Jerusalem, long before the world as we know it existed, there lived a prince named Buluqiya, son of a great king. And it meant nothing to him, because Buluqiya had discovered something in his father's most secret chamber. A scroll, ancient beyond reckoning, written in a language so old that scholars had forgotten it existed. He spent months deciphering it, word by painful word, symbol by forgotten symbol. And what he found inside that scroll changed everything. The text described a ring. Not just any ring. The Ring of Solomon, the legendary seal of the greatest king who ever lived. A ring said to command the winds, the seas, every creature that walked or swam or flew. Buluqiya became obsessed. The scroll said the ring was hidden, beyond the 7 seas, in a place no living man had ever reached. When his father died and the throne passed to him, Buluqiya did something his entire kingdom considered madness. He handed the throne to another, gathered a small crew of the bravest sailors he could find, and sailed into the unknown. The first sea was familiar, the second strange. By the third, his crew had never seen waters that color before. By the fourth, the stars above them were completely unrecognizable. By the fifth, the waves carried sounds no ocean should make. By the sixth, the cracks began to show. One of his most trusted men, a navigator who had sailed with him since boyhood, came to him on the 6th night. His eyes were different. Hollow. Wrong. Turn back, he said. There is nothing out there worth dying for. Buluqiya refused. The navigator nodded slowly. And that night, while Buluqiya slept, he turned the ship around. By dawn they had lost 2 days of progress. When Buluqiya discovered the betrayal, he stood at the bow of the ship in silence for a long time. Then he took the wheel himself. The navigator was put ashore on the nearest land they could find. And Buluqiya sailed on, alone at the wheel, into the 7th sea. The 7th sea was unlike anything the world contained. The water was black as midnight, and from the water rose serpents. Not small ones. Serpents so vast their bodies created waves when they surfaced. Ancient beyond imagination. Eyes like burning copper. The remaining crew abandoned ship within minutes. Every last one of them. Gone. Buluqiya stood alone at the bow, and spoke to the serpents in the ancient language of the scroll. Words so old the creatures recognized them instantly. The largest serpent regarded him for a long moment. Then it lowered its massive head. An invitation. Buluqiya stepped onto its back. For 3 days and 3 nights it carried him across the Black Sea. Then on the 3rd night, something changed. The serpent slowed. Its body began to shift beneath him, but without warning it rolled. Buluqiya was thrown sideways into the black water. The cold hit him like a wall of iron. Something vast moved below, something even larger than the serpent.
Something vast moves below, something even larger than the serpent, circling slowly in the deep. He had perhaps 30 seconds before it reached him. He didn't panic. He spoke the words again. The ancient language. The serpent returned. Buluqiya grabbed hold and pulled himself back onto its back. Shaking, but alive. He looked down at the water where he had been, and slowly it descended back into the darkness. What waited on the other side was not what he expected. A kingdom. But the people who moved through its streets were not alive. They were the dead, still going through the motions of living, trapped between what was and what comes next. They looked at Buluqiya with hollow eyes. At first, they ignored him. But as days passed, something changed. They began to notice him. They started following him. Not aggressively. Silently. Wherever he walked, a growing crowd of the dead trailed behind him. On the third day, they stopped simply following. They began to close in. Slowly. From all sides. Buluqiya realized with cold clarity that the kingdom of the dead was not simply a place you pass through. It was a place that kept you. He ran. Through streets that seemed to rearrange themselves. Through squares that looked identical no matter which direction he turned. The dead followed without hurrying. Because they knew something he was only beginning to understand. In this kingdom, the longer you stayed, the harder it became to leave. He could already feel it. A heaviness in his legs. Then he saw the old man. Sitting completely still at the center of the city. The only living soul in a kingdom of the dead. Buluqiya fought through the crowd and reached him. "How do I leave?" he demanded. The old man looked at him calmly. "The same way you entered. But you must leave now. Another hour and you will not remember why you came." Buluqiya turned back toward the gate. The dead parted. Slowly. Reluctantly. As if releasing something they had already decided was theirs. He walked through them. Not running now. Because the old man had told him something else too. They can only keep those who are afraid. He reached the gate. He stepped through. And behind him, the kingdom of the dead closed like water over a stone. In the next episode, will he reach the
mountains shimmered like emerald. No footprints. No birds. Only silence. As he climbed, the sunlight vanished. A shadow swallowed the mountain. A bird larger than a palace circled above him. Its wings covered the sun. Then it dived. Buluqiya pressed himself beneath a ledge, holding his breath. The giant bird landed, only a few steps away. Its eyes searched the rocks. Then, a second bird tore into it from the sky. The two monsters clashed above the cliffs. While they fought, Buluqiya slipped away. Days later, he saw the impossible. Islands floating above the clouds. Waterfalls pouring into empty sky. No bridge. No path. Only vines hanging from heaven. He climbed. Higher. Higher. Then, the vine cracked. One strand snapped. Then another. He leaped. His fingers barely caught the next vine. For one terrifying moment, he hung above the endless sky. Then, he pulled himself onto the island. His hands were bleeding. His legs shook beneath him. But he was still alive. The island stretched before him. At its far edge, a wall of solid light. A gateway. Beyond it, he could feel something waiting. As he stepped closer, a voice rose from the light itself.
Traveler, only truth may pass this gate. Speak one lie, and you will never leave this island.
Buluqiya's throat tightened.
Ask. Why do you seek what lies beyond?
He thought of every king who had sent men to die for treasure.
At first, I sought adventure. Now, I do not know what I seek anymore. Only that I must see it. Honesty is the only key that has ever opened this gate.
Buluqiya stepped through. Behind him, the light sealed shut. There was no going back the way he came. The Garden of Life. Before him stood a garden unlike anything on earth. Crystal streams, golden flowers, trees heavy with impossible fruit. Everything glowed. He saw it. A spring. Its water shone like liquid light. The water of life. One sip. He knelt beside the spring. His hand trembled above the surface. He thought of home. Suddenly, the garden filled with light. An angel stood before him. Its wings stretched across the sky.
Mortal, why do you seek what heaven never gave?
Buluqiya lowered his head.
I sought to conquer death. And what have your travels taught you?
I came searching for eternal life. ريتان سربون. But I found wisdom instead.
The angel smiled.
The man who knows his limits is wiser than the man who seeks to become a god.
The light faded. The spring remained untouched. Buluqiya turned away, leaving behind the one thing every king had dreamed of possessing. He crossed the floating islands, the emerald mountains, the endless deserts, until at sunrise, he returned home. His people looked upon him, but he was not the man who had left. He had reached the edge of the world, and discovered that the greatest victory is not living forever. It is knowing when not to. The end. If this journey moved you, subscribe, more forgotten legends are waiting.